Update. Am I the a-hole for asking my boyfriend to stop sharing everything with my sister? Original story. Hi, I'm 24 female and have been dating my boyfriend, 26 male, for 5 years now. We grew up together as neighbors and were friends for a couple years before dating. I love him so much and I want to marry him. His family's great and I adore them all. And it's great with my family too. He also formed a great relationship with my sister, 21 female. But the issue is that I think their bond is too close. My boyfriend and I live together, but he spends a lot of time with her. Albeit I'm sort of busy. I'm currently in grad school for engineering, so I have to go to my classes. My boyfriend works full-time. My sister is currently taking a gap year, but that 1 year has extended from when she was 18. She comes over when I'm in seminars/classes. They have tons of inside jokes and share the same sense of humor and taste in movies. It makes me feel left out. But when I try to include myself, they both stop being so enthusiastic and acting like it's super awkward to have me there. My sister and I were close growing up, but started drifting when I went to uni. When my boyfriend isn't there and I talk to her, she becomes kinda cold and sometimes says rude things. Once she told me to my face that I'm not good enough for him, that he deserves better, which made me cry for a couple days. He also gets her gifts for the most random achievements. Like he got her a present for making it through the week, even though she doesn't do anything as she isn't currently working or trying to pursue a hobby or interest. She's just taking it easy. Her own words. Don't get me wrong, I'm glad my boyfriend and my sister are friends. But my major problem is that my boyfriend tells her everything. Literally everything. He tells her things he doesn't tell me and talks to her about me and our relationship. She knows all our issues and good parts, to a level of detail that I wouldn't even tell my closest friends or parents. She even knows the grades I got in my midterm/finals and what I think about my manager. I work part-time to contribute to our apartment, but I also get paid for my research which goes towards our needs as well, which I feel is unnecessary for her to know since I didn't tell her myself. I asked him to step back a bit and stop telling her things about me and our relationship, but he was shocked and told me that I'm an a-hole for even requesting it. Now I feel guilty. So am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments before reading the update. Not the a-hole, but I'm 90% certain your sister and boyfriend are hooking up while you're in class. I'm 100% certain. I reserve 10% that they're just having an emotional affair, but sister at the very least would like it to be more. And when it tells you that someone deserves better than their current partner is talking about themselves. Not the a-hole. They're both grossly out of line and are at minimum having an emotional affair. Kick them both to the curb. I don't see how this is salvageable. I wrote way too many lines in my judgment where emotional affair would have cut it. Think you hit the nail on the head. Who is he in a relationship with? You or your sister or both? There are so many red flags here that I would be taking a serious look at your relationship. Keeps OP for money and the sister is a side chick to bang when OP isn't home at this point. The level of we know each other very well is very unsettling, and it sounds like an emotional affair. However, I think there is more to it. OP needs to take a step back and find out. Edit. Thank you all for your responses and advice. You've literally made me reconsider everything that I thought I knew. The consensus is that there is something shady going on with my boyfriend and my sister, which just makes me want to vomit. I'm now reading into every interaction and conversation, and I feel so naive for not noticing the red flags. I'm going to take your guys' suggestions and set up some nanny cams in my apartment. Either way, it'll be good security. If nothing happens, then it'll be reassuring. And if something does happen, well, I'll deal with that after. I'm going to drive to the store right now to pick up the cameras. I'll try to update soon, hopefully with positive news. And now for the update. Hi everyone, I have an update. Unfortunately, it's a bad one. But fortunately, I didn't have to wait very long to get it. So the last update I posted was before I went to go get some nanny cams. I set up the cams at the hidden spots in our bedroom and living room area in our apartment. Today happens to be my birthday. Yay for 25. And Debbie, my close friend 25 female, wanted to take me for a day trip yesterday. My boyfriend agreed and said that we do something the next day, on my birthday. I told him I'd be out from 8 a.m. and I'd be home by 8 or 9 p.m. after Debbie and I finished dinner. Debbie took me out, but she noticed I was feeling a bit off. I was still thinking about the overwhelming number of responses telling me that something shady was going on, so I ended up spilling everything while we were eating lunch. Debbie was outraged on my behalf and agreed that something was off. She asked if I wanted to cut our day short and drop back home to see if anything was happening, and convinced me, saying that it's better to find out today than tomorrow. Yes, I realized we could have just checked the nanny cams, but for some reason we forgot about them in a moment. I'm kind of glad I didn't check, because I would have started ugly crying in public. I'm guessing most of you know what happened, as it's so predictable that I'm kicking myself afterwards for not realizing. We drove back home around 4 p.m. and it caught them literally in the act. Why were they doing it at 4 p.m.? I don't even know. We just kind of stood there with my arms folded, and I hope with a badass resting bee face on, although maybe it was more a trying not to cry face. My boyfriend gave me a whole "it was an accident" spiel. I just ignored him and started packing my things. Thank God our lease was up for renewal within the month. He begged me and eventually yelled at me for packing up. The funny thing is, I bought most of the furniture and supplies. So me, being slightly petty, packed as much as I could. Debbie helped me and we loaded everything up in her car. We left some stuff that couldn't fit, but I'll go back for that later. The whole time, my sister was sitting stoically wrapped in a robe in my couch. My poor couch. We went back to Debbie's house and I had a breakdown. Debbie, the angel that she is, provided me with ice cream and fuzzy blankets. My boyfriend spammed me with calls and texts, ranging from "I'm sorry," "please forgive me," "I love you." It was only one time, to "this wasn't my fault, you should have been home more." Predictable. We decided to check the recordings, and lo and behold, it was definitely not just once. I'm really sad that the sister who used to bake cupcakes and do karaoke with me could betray me this badly. My boyfriend, well, he was my first, and in hindsight, he didn't really contribute much anyways. I spent yesterday kind of rotating through being devastated, angry, and self-righteous, but today Debbie pampered me all day, so it wasn't so bad. Thanks for everyone's support, and I hope that everyone has a good day. So after I wrote this all up and sent it to the mods, I went back to enjoying the rest of my birthday and Debbie kept me distracted. I left my second laptop. It's an old, slow laptop, and when I upgraded, I still kept it. At my apartment. Turns out I had my email and stuff still signed in, and my now ex-boyfriend messed with it, and I lost access to my emails and the original throwaway Reddit account. But I did send what I had written to myself beforehand, so that's why I can update here. I'm not sure if you guys will be able to see this, but I hope you can. Edit. Also, I forgot to add, but I wrote up the actual update portion 2 days ago. Lol, it's not my birthday anymore, but yeah, hopefully that puts into context. Currently, I've been staying with my friend and I've blocked both my ex-boyfriend and my ex-sister. To be honest, it's a huge weight off my back, and I know this won't affect me forever. I'm so sorry, Opie, but I'm so glad you found out before something serious such as marriage or children. Your sister and ex are a-holes that deserve each other. I hope you tell your family as well. I can't believe how awful they are. I wish you success and happiness. Also, happy birthday. I'm so sorry this happened to you. I know this wasn't the outcome you hoped for, but your life is much better off without either one. What your sister did was lower than low. I don't see how anyone can look at their sibling's significant other and see a potential intimate partner. So sorry to hear this. At least you know now. If I were you, I would never forgive my ex-sister or ex-boyfriend, or ever talk to either of them again. They don't deserve to be in your life. Next story. Am I the a-hole for denying my brother a share in our childhood home? When I was 18 and my brother was 22, we found out our mom had an affair the early years of my parents' marriage. My dad was clueless about this too. She ended up leaving our dad and revealed he wasn't our bio father. Her affair partner was, and DNA confirmed this was true. Our dad was there for us, and for a few months things seemed like they would stay relatively normal. But then my brother decided he felt bad for the guy who didn't know we existed and wanted a relationship. He started treating our dad as a bank instead of a dad. Dad paid for him to meet our bio father, and then my brother acted like he was supposed to pay for other stuff for them. My dad said no. He said he didn't want to pay for anything for that man. My brother told him it wasn't for my dad. It was for him, that he is his son, and as a father, he should put his hurt aside for him. When the boy dad was made homeless, my brother expected my dad to pay for him to rent a place. My dad said no, and that was the start of an estrangement that lasted until my dad died a couple of years ago. The The estrangement continued for so long because at age 26, my brother had our bio father adopt him again because he felt bad. He tried to pressure me to do the same, but I didn't meet the dude. My brother wanted me to, but as I told him, it held no interest to me. The man died 7 years ago, and he was broken up about it, especially because I showed no grief at all and told him it didn't upset me at all. It was after our dad died that my brother really started to feel guilt. Dad kept our childhood home and he left it all to me. Our brother used to love that house, as it was where he went through a lot as a kid, and he asked if I would split that in half with him and let him buy it one day. I said no, that I wanted to live there, and after everything he didn't deserve to just inherit his half like he did treat our dad like crap. He told me I was an A for punishing him so much, that he has suffered enough because of it, and has to live with the consequences. Am I the a-hole? Now for the comments. Not the a-hole. He is absolutely right. He has to live with the consequences of his actions, and this is one of them. Guilt is not a consequence, it is a decision. It never means you should be absolved of all the real-life consequences. Top commenter is right. This is absolutely what he should have to deal with. Well, if it isn't the consequences of their own actions. It's cool that he likes the inanimate object your dad built up. Shame that he was such a horrible person to the guy who literally raised you two. Your brother sounds like a manipulative a-hole. That's how he was those years after finding out. He would manipulate and try to use guilt to get what he wanted. To the point it pushed too far and our dad decided he was done. My brother really disappointed me. Info. Is he written into the will to inherit half, or is he just demanding it? He used to be. I think Dad changed his will after my brother chose to be adopted by bio father. If the house is solely yours, he's got no say or right to demand anything. There's no sentimental value here for him. As always, from what you said, it's just another monetary value. And I think your dad was beyond nice to him to put up with this nonsense when you were younger. Just make sure the will is ironclad so he can't contest it. There is sentimental value for him. The house used to mean more to him than me. Maybe it still does to a point. But my dad made sure it was mine, and mine alone. And he can't even contest a legal kid because he was adopted by the bio. Now for the next story. Am I the a-hole for leaving after I found out my brother wasn't home? I'm 25 female, finished my master's degree this past spring, and decided to move back to my hometown to be closer to my parents and brother. My parents are separated, and my brother Alex, 14, usually lives with my mom during the school year. I wanted to be there for his first day of high school. So I got up early, went to McDonald's to get us some breakfast, and went to my mom's house. My mom's husband answered the door and let me in. I asked my mom where Alex was, and she said he was at Dad's house. I asked why, and she told me he was staying with Dad until he could behave better with his siblings. He has 3 stepbrothers around his age. I said my usual greetings and goodbyes and made my way to leave. My mom's husband asked why I was leaving, and I told him I was going to see Alex. He looked upset, but said goodbyes anyways. I spent the rest of the morning with Alex and my dad and then drove him to school. My mom texted me calling me an A because I showed up with McDonald's in a house full of my step-siblings. I don't know them nor consider them family. I don't offer them any or wish them well on their first day. She said what I did was rude because her husband's kids saw me with food and thought it was there for them. She asked me to come back around the time they get home and to take them out so they didn't feel left out. I asked if Alex would be there, and she said no. So I told her I'd be happy to take Alex out with the kids if Alex wanted to go out with them. He of course said no. And now she's accusing me of trying to break up her family. Am I the a-hole? Edit. I'm not asking if I'm the a-hole for not accepting these kids. Preaching your miracle step family stories to me isn't really going to change that for me. I'm asking if I'm an a-hole in this exact instance, for leaving after I realized he wasn't there. Nothing more. Not the a-hole. You got the McDonald's specifically for your brother on his first day of school. If you showed up with a birthday present, would she expect you to give that to the step-siblings instead of him too? She's being unreasonable. Sounds like there may be a reason why Alex doesn't behave better with his siblings. I have a feeling Mom is putting the step-kids ahead of her own son. Not the a-hole. You're 11 years older than your step-siblings. The family relationship between you will be limited just in that nature because you're all in different life spaces. Your mom's Brady Bunch vision is unrealistic, and her accusations that you're trying to break up her family are off base. And if you're feeling spicy, point out that she is doing her part to break up the family by shipping her son off to live with his dad when things got rough, instead of working on it at home. Dad would do absolutely nothing to help things and would likely pour gasoline on a fire. But hey, sometimes I like to stir up trouble. The last story is titled, Am I the a-hole for choosing to spend my day with my brother instead of my dad after he tried to bring Step along? My dad got married last year, and for a while, his wife's kids been living here too. I, 16 male, hate it, to be honest, because there is no privacy as we have to share everything, even my room, to our other two sons, Bryce 15 and Ellen 9. And everything is family time. If we're going to get ice cream or see a movie or go to the park, it has to be everyone or no one goes. Like, yeah, I guess I'm used to only doing stuff with my dad and my older brother 24, so maybe that's why it's hard. But still, we don't spend any time together at all. For birthdays, it was always a thing where my dad takes each of us out to do something special, then something later as a family together. Even when my brother was living here with us, he always spent equal time, but now every time with him got to be shared by everyone else. My birthday was on last Friday. We were supposed to go kayaking, but the thing is, Bryce's birthday is same day as mine. So my dad tells me he's coming too so we could celebrate both our birthdays. But I didn't want that. I told my dad would never get a second to do something that only me and him. Yeah, he got other kids now, so it's not going to be the same time we spend together. But we spend no time at all anymore. And I asked him for once if this can be me and him. He told me he's sorry we don't hang out anymore, and that he knows all the time is going to them. But it's Bryce's birthday too, and he wants to come. It got me mad after telling him how I've been feeling he still didn't want to make this only for me and him. So I told him I don't feel like going anymore. My dad told me to come with us, but I didn't want to. When they left, my brother came to pick me up after I told him what happened. He took me to eat and we went to the movies, which was fun. Now my dad thinks I'm the a-hole for choosing to go with my brother instead, when it would have been nice if I was with him and Bryce. Also, that I owe Bryce an apology for skipping out and going with my actual brother instead. I don't know. He seemed like really hurt because he wanted us to do this together, and he won't talk to me right now. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. Your dad is doing a bad job of blending the families. You made a reasonable request and he wouldn't listen. It's good that you have your brother to help you out. The good news is you only have 2 more years of dealing with your dad's house. Dad, all you're doing is pushing me to the side because your new kid's feelings are more important. I'm sure the new stepmom takes her kids out alone. But can't his dad do the same thing? Not stay home. I doubt that message would get through to dear old dad. He would probably respond with, "What are you talking about? You're the one choosing not to come," or some BS crappy parents say to make themselves seem like the good guys. Not stay home. Your dad really should work harder to understand where you are coming from. If he had just split the day, spent some alone time with you, and then asked you to do a family activity, there wouldn't have been a problem. He needs to own up to his unwillingness to meet you where you are at is causing this. Not stay home. I get that your dad is trying to blend the families and all, but he shouldn't neglect his kids' needs. You didn't choose your stepmom and her kids. Your dad did. On another note, your older brother sounds like an awesome guy for taking you out to celebrate. Hang in there. He just knows it's been hard with my mom sick, so he'd do a lot more to be there. I'm so sorry about your mom, and that just makes your dad favoring your step-siblings even more. You deserve some extra care and attention with all of the changes and stress in your life. You're not an a-hole at all. We're hopeful she's gonna get better, and then maybe I can go back to her when it's safe.
Update. My best friend is dating my abuser and wants me to reconcile with him, so I kicked her out of my home. Original post. I'm trying to write this out for days now, but I keep getting too upset to concentrate, so this might be a bit disjointed. I don't have family in the sense many understand family to be. I've been pretty much a loner, with one exception, my best friend Tammy. We met in middle school and became inseparable. Things changed a bit in college. My parents forced me into a Christian out-of-state college. Tammy applied to and was accepted by a different college in the same town, so we both moved out there. We were roommates for 2 years until I met my boyfriend Trent. I moved in with him at the end of junior year, and I don't know when it started happening, but he went from charming and affectionate to controlling. I don't want to upset anyone, so I'll warn you that what I describe below includes abusive behavior. At first, Trent would put me down, hinting he could find someone better or saying that if he cheated, it would be my fault, because I wasn't enough. It became physical during my senior year. He would push me out of the way if I was in his path. Then it escalated to slapping me during arguments while calling me worthless, a waste of time, or a broken toy no one would love. I didn't have much self-esteem, so I stayed, thinking I was the problem. When I called home for support, I was told I was the issue. I started planning my exit the day after graduation. He had proposed, and when I hesitated, he screamed at me, punched the wall next to my head, and later forced me into sex. The next morning, I woke up with a ring on my finger, and he forced me again, calling it makeup sex, and saying he forgave me for how I had treated him. That's the short version. There were many more instances of abuse, physical, emotional, and sexual. I eventually found shelter in a nearby city, started hiding things in my car, and took as many work shifts as possible to save money. I finally left him, leaving my phone behind and never looked back. Tammy knew Trent and lived nearby, but she didn't know about my plan. When she messaged me on social media, I told her everything. She played dumb when Trent came around asking about me and spun a story that I was suicidal and he should call the police. He never found me. That was years ago. I'm now 36, Tammy is 2, and Trent is 38. Tammy became more religious over the years. I told her as long as she was happy and safe, I didn't care what she believed. However, she started inviting me to her church 4 years ago. After repeatedly declining, I finally told her that if she brought it up again, I'd leave or hang up. I'm agnostic and prefer to explore faith on my own terms, if at all. 2 years ago, Tammy got a job overseas. I was happy for her but devastated. Without her, I had no one. My family was barely in the picture and I had no deep friendships beyond her. My counselor helped me work through it and I carried on. We stayed in touch through video chats, sharing our explorations of new cities, hers in London and mine in Texas. But then her communication slowed, especially after she visited our old college town. Earlier this month, she came to Texas to visit me. I was thrilled, but noticed something was off. The first day she seemed tired, but the next day after drinking, she broke down crying. I asked her what was wrong, and that's when she dropped the bomb. She's been dating Trent for almost a year. I was too stunned to respond, as she went on about how he's changed, found Jesus, and regrets how he treated me. I sat frozen, and when she asked me to say something, I told her to get the F out. She tried to explain further, saying she hated him for years but reconnected by chance, and it showed he's a different person. I didn't interrupt. When she stopped talking, I repeated myself, "Get the F out." She argued, but I stayed firm until she packed her things and left. A week later, my dad texted me saying Tammy had called my parents crying. He told me to get over myself because it's not like I wanted Trent back. And that's what I get for living with a man I wasn't married to. Tammy also texted, rehashing her arguments and demanding I video chat with Trent to see for myself that it's changed. She accused me of holding back their relationship and called me malicious for kicking her out. She even hinted that my version of things was exaggerated. That was the last straw. I blocked her, but I don't have other close friends to turn to about this. My family and hers think I'm the a-hole for kicking her out in a strange city, but I feel betrayed. Who dates their friend's ex, let alone someone who abused them? Am I wrong? Now for the top comments before reading the update 2 months later. Your so-called best friend is playing you for a fool, and you've got to call it what it is. A hot mess wrapped in betrayal. Dating your abuser? That's not just crossing a line, it's leaping over it without a second thought. Kicking her out wasn't just right, it was necessary. You don't need that kind of disrespect or trauma reopening nonsense in your life. And her trying to preach about forgiveness? That's not about helping you heal. It's about her trying to ease her own guilt. Listen here, don't you dare feel bad for putting yourself first. You're not a rehabilitation center for poorly raised people pretending to be friends. Cut her off. Cut that noise off, and don't look back. You're not the crazy one here. She and anyone siding with her are. Keep your head high and your door shut to toxic messes like that. Cut her off and cut your damn family off, Hopi. They're siding with your abuser instead of their own daughter. They're not family to you. You're worse off with them in your life. You'll make new friends. These people are toxic and will keep hurting you. Rip off the band-aid. Get rid of all of them. Who here can see that the abuser went after the ex-friends to stay close to Opie? It's so freaking obvious. I would start taking advantage of Texas' very enthusiastic laws in self-defense and firearm ownership. Oh, I have one, and had a stint in the Air Force after college. So it's documented, registered, and prepped just in case. I was a victim to physical abuse once. Never again. One day when she finally realizes that you were right in the first place, she'll need someone to help put the pieces back with her. Be that person, but don't be the sucker she wants you to be. I plan to leave the door open in case she needs help getting away. She still has me in social media. Leaving him was so hard to pull off without anyone knowing, other than the people at the shelter and my boss at a restaurant. I know how hard and overwhelming it is. I could never leave her to do it on her own. Now for the update 2 months later. Sorry to everyone who reached out and I haven't responded. I honestly haven't been using the app as I had to change phones quickly at one point and forgot the password when trying to log in on my new device. It took Trent 2 weeks. I have a full-time job but also a part-time service industry job as a bartender. He showed up at the bar. It's a small bar and one of the regulars, Daisy, female 30s, is someone I confided in about Trent and Tammy. When Trent walked in, I happened to be chatting with Daisy and she saw my reaction. She asked what was wrong, and I told her it was Trent. She wasted no time and went to get my manager. Trent sat at the end of the bar. I took my time checking in on my other guests while ignoring him until my manager, Heather, female 50s, came out with the other 2 bartenders, both male 30s. Trent had already started knocking on the bar and loudly demanding service. He got kicked out quickly and was told that we can and will refuse service to him. I got texts from a new number saying it was Tammy, begging me to answer. She called 4 times, but I didn't pick up. She left voicemails, some with Trent in the background, telling me that I was concerning them with my hatefulness, that I'm alone in the world, and that it's not safe, asking who I would turn to if someone broke into my home at night. Her messages were sprinkled with religious rhetoric. I was still on the clock and Daisy suggested I stay at her parents' place. I know her mom, who sometimes comes to the bar with Daisy. At that point, I was shaken enough to accept their offer. Daisy's mom, Rose, female 60s, kindly let me stay rent-free for as long as I needed, but I eventually moved in with one of the servers at the bar. She helped me find legal representation, and I filed for a restraining order using screenshots I had emailed myself earlier, old voicemails and texts. While we couldn't prove harassment on Tammy's end, Trent's messages and voicemails were enough to qualify for a temporary restraining order. I'm safe for now, and a hearing is in January. No one knows where I currently live, and I've shut down all social media. I've got no contact with my family as they've been pressuring me to give them my address so they can send Christmas gifts. When I provided a P.O. box Daisy's letting me use, they got angry. That was suspicious enough for me not to trust them further. It's strange, but I am slowly making new friendships. Seeing a counselor has been helping me with the stress. Trent is essentially blacklisted from the local bar scene. Words travel fast. I haven't walked alone during a single shift since. And that's my update. Things aren't perfect, but I remembered my password while checking my email for more evidence to send to my lawyer. I wanted to let everyone concerned about me know that I'm okay. When this is resolved, I'll try to provide another update with more details. Who would I turn to if someone broke into my home at night? What, did she want you to turn to her so she could start dating the intruder? That sounds like a threat in my book, aka we know where you live. I'm so sorry you're going through this, Opie. Daisy seems like an amazing person, and her kindness really stands out. You've handled everything so well, you're incredibly strong. I'm glad you're seeing a counselor. Also, great idea with a P.O. box. If you're in the US, request to have your information removed from white pages. It's a good way to protect yourself further. For sure, Daisy's such a real one, and OP handled this like a boss. That White Pages tip is solid too. Smart move to stay careful. I hope you have cameras set up at your new home. Tammy is a monster. She is so naive and brainwashed by her religion that she is endangering your life. Trent is a violent abuser who is now stalking you. He got with her so he could have access to you. Your parents aren't safe and trustworthy, and I am glad you know it too. Christians like them are nothing but abusers. That's exactly it. Stupid Tammy thinks she's in love, but all she is to Trent is a means to get to OP. I don't buy that they kept running into each other either. Trent saw Tammy back and started stalking her, hoping she would lead him to OP. They don't need OP's blessing to be together, so there's no reason to keep harassing her. Wanting forgiveness is just a flimsy excuse for Trent to keep stalking OP. If he had really changed, he'd respect that OP can't be around someone who repeatedly raped and abused her, and he'd leave her alone. Getting angry because your victim wants no contact is the opposite of being a changed person. Next story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to babysit my deceased best friend's kids after her husband's betrayal? My best friend, Emma, passed away from cancer 2 years ago. We were like sisters. She was my maid of honor and I was hers. When she was diagnosed, I became her primary caregiver, helping her through chemo and spending every possible moment with her. Her husband, Mike, was a different story. During her treatment, I discovered he was having an affair with a coworker. Emma knew, but was too sick to deal with the drama. After she died, I confronted Mike, telling him he was a disgrace. He begged me to keep it from the kids, 9 and 6. Last week, Mike called asking me to babysit regularly. Apparently, her affair partner is now his live-in girlfriend. She's an AI art influencer with 50K followers who posts those dressed-up cats and babies you see everywhere. And they want free time. He had the audacity to say Emma would have wanted me to help for the kids. I told him absolutely not. The thought of babysitting while he lives with a woman who betrayed Emma makes me sick. Some say the kids are innocent and need support, while others think I'm justified. Mike is now telling everyone I've abandoned Emma's children. My own family is pressuring me, saying I'm being vindictive. Am I the a-hole? Now for the comments. Not the a-hole, and since he's telling everyone you abandoned the kids, I tell everyone how he was banging someone else while his wife was dying of cancer. Right, it's not about the kids. It's about how OP is still repulsed by his betrayal of her best friend. He took advantage of her help during his wife's final illness to have an affair instead of being a good, supportive husband and father during a crisis. It will take as long as it takes, if ever, for OP to feel comfortable with him and his affair partner. OP may eventually find a way to stay connected with the kids at her own convenience, but she may never feel comfortable babysitting for the couple of cheaters or being friendly with them. What the cheating husband actually requires is OP's, no doubt free, babysitting to suit his convenience. Now that he has more parental responsibility than he can offload onto the nearest woman. If I were OP, I'd tell every flying monkey exactly why she is repulsed by the cheaters and can't stomach supporting their relationship at this time. Agree, but try to find ways to stay connected to Emma's kids. You're the best connection to their mom right now. Not the a-hole. I always wonder why a woman would want to be with a man who treats his dying wife so poorly. I know this from experience. The affair partner always thinks they're different. The level of ego involved, the mindset that I was able to steal this person from their spouse, so I'm special, is ridiculous. My therapist and I discussed this after my ex's affair. The saying, once a cheater, always a cheater, rings true. Because some people really do think that way and always will. Yep, my ex cheated on me while I was recovering from brain surgery. He told his affair partner's adult children that I knew and was okay with it. I wasn't. When I found out, I kicked him out, despite still being in recovery. What made it worse was that the affair partner pretended to be my friend and even sent me an edible arrangement. I'm still salty about it all these years later. Last story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to take my girlfriend back after she cheated just to see if she still had it? I, 30 male, have been dating my girlfriend Rachel, 27 female, for 2 years. She's always been confident and charismatic, which is one of the things I loved about her. Our relationship seemed solid, good communication, lots of shared interests, and we were even talking about moving in together. A few weeks ago, Rachel admitted to me that she cheated on me during a night out with her friends. She hooked up with some guy she met at a bar. I was completely blindsided. When I asked her why she did it, she said it wasn't about me or our relationship, but because she wanted to see if she still had it. I told her that was a terrible excuse, and she started crying, saying it was a stupid mistake and that she regretted it immediately. She's begged me to forgive her, saying she learned her lesson and that it would never happen again. But I can't get over the fact that she was willing to risk our relationship for something so shallow. She didn't cheat because she was unhappy or because there was a problem between us. She cheated purely to stroke her ego. Now Rachel and some of our mutual friends are calling me unforgiving, saying that everyone makes mistakes and that I'm throwing away a great relationship over one bad choice. They say I should focus on her remorse and give her another chance. I feel like staying with her would mean betraying my own boundaries, but I'm starting to wonder if I'm being too harsh. Am I the a-hole for refusing to take her back? Not the a-hole. Congrats, you still have it, but you sure as heck don't have me. The mutual friends are just as trashy as her. You'd be crazy to take her back. That's what I thought, but I couldn't be sure of myself. She still had it because she had you. That should have been enough validation. All of this is in the past tense because I hope you use it when you break up with that cheater, not the a-hole. Now Rachel and some of our mutual friends are calling me unforgiving, saying that everyone makes mistakes and that I'm throwing away a great relationship over one bad choice. As a thought exercise, I'm trying to define a great relationship that includes one partner hooking up with random, let's presume, infectious partners on a whim. I'm having trouble recognizing the greatness here. I'm still trying to get my head around the she made a mistake. No, she didn't. It was 100% intentional and she admitted as much. She made a mistake in telling her boyfriend instead of flying her butt off to him, is what she means. Once a cheater, always a cheater. I learned that the hard way. Good for you for sticking to your boundaries. And this cheater didn't even have a reason for it, lol. It was literally just, I felt like it. What do you mean we're over? It was a mistake. Now I feel bad.